So I finally got around to finishing watching my rewatch of Legion, and I'm very much looking forward to the next season. Like, that's it. Although I do have to say, as a side note, in my Entertainment Weekly, there's a little snippet for season 2. It shows the actual script, and reading that made me even more confused than I am on the entire series. But the conversation is between Oliver and Lenny. So more of that, and that's very exciting. So anyway, to the actual rewatch. So the fact that, Sid is trying to get Lenny out of David's head without really, having her destroy David in a sense, isn't an easy task. They have the doctor guy, and I remember thinking the very first time that we saw this episode that I'm like, oh snap, he's, got a partner. Hey, whatever. I didn't think he'd be living alone, but I don't know why I didn't think in that direction of his storyline. It is kind of nice to see that, they gave him a little bit more backstory than, hey, he's David Doctor, and then he gets burned, and then we don't see him again, and then we do, and he's like, hey, I'm back. Well, we kind of wrapped that up. So that was kind of good. We could see his story a little bit, and his partner who's working with D3 to get this, whatever it is, to figure it out. One thing that one thing that I don't know yet, I guess, is at the very, very end when Oliver's driving with Lenny in the car, he asks her, where should we start first? Or where should we start looking first? And she says someplace warm. What are they looking for? Did I miss something? What are they looking for? What is it that, Lenny could be looking for? A permanent host? That went over real well when, 20-some years of David's life as a host? So what exactly is Lenny looking for? Unless Lenny is looking for... Oh no, as a mutant, she wouldn't have a physical being. She's taken a physical being on, and she can do that. Maybe she's looking for David's dad to actually do revenge. Doesn't know where to start, so why not start someplace warm? Why not? So I don't know. Let's see what else. Sid actually doesn't irritate me in this episode as much as she did in the prior episodes, except for the one line that she has when she's trying to get past Melanie to pretty much distract David when Lenny's killing him and saying, get out of my way. She says it in such a way that it's like, I'm over fighting you, please don't make me do anything that you'll regret, just let me through, if I die with him. The tone I get from that sentence, I still, I'm pretty sure I felt this way the first time I heard it. It was like, huh? What? Whatever. Oh, and of course, I'm very horrible at saying this, but of course Potatomy has the gun. Of course he does. Girl Carrie comes out of nowhere and she's like, I'm ready to fight, but, Potatomy shows up and he's like, I'm ready to shoot some things. I'm ready to shoot. It's like, just relax. Relax a little, dude. Just chill out. I mean, aside from being able to read people's memory, I feel like he needs to have a useful talent, a useful power in that it can be turned deadly. Aside from rewriting memories, I'm assuming, he's very non-mutant in that he wants to use guns. Anyway, when the episode ends, of course, Oliver finally figures out who Melanie is, which is like a aw moment, because the entire episode, Melanie's like, hey, we should have dinner, and he's like, okay, you remind me of someone, and she's like, oh, your wife, he's like, no, so he can't place who she is yet, and then all of a sudden, bam, he does, and what happens? Farouk gets him. Of course. Never fails. Something happens when people remember things. So season 2 is probably going to be the cast, or rather the group, the legion, of people trying to perhaps work with D3 as per the doctor, him saying, okay, I'll talk to them, or they'll kill him off, they'll be at war with the mutant, D3 and the mutants will be at war, and then they'll still have to find Oliver and Lenny. I don't know. I hope it's a lot of, not back and forth, but that, like, we follow I'm jumping ahead here on what I want for season 2. Sorry. But I kind of hope that it's Lenny and Oliver, you know, their interactions together, and then you have the mutants trying to find them, trying to locate them, while also either at war with or working with D3. I'm sure that's the storyline. I'm almost positive that's the storyline. But, like, I almost think we need another villain. It becomes a little bit too predictable if we just have Lenny. As much as I love Lenny, I love her like, whoa. I don't think that she's a good single soul villain in this. In you know, season 1 we have D3 on top of Lenny, but that's more or less an internal struggle with D3 as a second monster in a sense. What else? Oh, what I was trying to process right as the ending happened of this episode was that, so Sid tries to get to David, tries to free Lenny from David. She kisses him. She then does not become David, but Lenny's host. And then, but Lenny has these powers that would have been David's powers, unless they're actually like Lenny's or Farouk's powers, in which case, okay, fine, that makes sense. But she, you know, touches Carrie touches Carrie on the forehead and nearly transfers herself to Carrie. With no harm done. If she obviously did not have Sid's talent, because that would have, like, swapped again. Being Lenny, being this, you know, parasite mutant, I'm going to latch on to somebody else that's good. I'm going to latch on. Once I'm out, I'm going to latch on. I'm going to find somebody good. And then, you know, girl Carrie beating up guy Carrie, and then taking out Ptotomy, and I hear the gunshots going, and I'm like, there's got to be more shots in that gun than, you know, it's supposed to be, but I know this is a show, and I'm not going to think that hard into it. And then, of course, it's just like when they're in the Bolero scene, where she's like, and Melanie's down, and I was like, oh, she gets shot, and then I realized, no, it's just kind of a ploy to get her out of the way. And then having girl Carrie and David kind of running at each other. You have, you know, the blue for good and the red for evil. I don't know if that was intentional, but Lenny's color scheme throughout this entire season has been red. Once we find out that she is this parasite, is this whatever, that's the color that you find her in. She's never in red, but she, like, the red hues show up when you know she's nearby. And there was a point I was going to mention. Oh, so speaking of Lenny and the color red, which may or may not be on purpose, and I think I've mentioned this before in one of my other rewatch reviews, but Sid always wears red. And I don't remember if she wore red in the very beginning prior to her getting inside David's head for the very first time. The only reason I say that is because Lenny is talking to Sid and says, it's all your fault. You touched him and we're now connected. Yes. During the time that she went into David's mind, I mean, Lenny probably would have killed David anyway. What's the fun in that? We have to have some more drama going on. But, you know, when Sid went inside David's mind, she hugs child David, or the pure version of David, whatever you want to call him. She hugs him and then follows him around and takes his side, which I understand. I understand where that's coming from. But therefore, everything that David is seeing, Sid is now seeing. Sid was seeing things that wasn't even there. I'd have to go back and see, but anything prior to that time, was she ever wearing red? She's been wearing red since, as far as I know, since then till the very end. If season 2 she's not wearing red, I would associate the fact that she is no longer connected to Lenny. This is just a theory. Like I said, I have to go back to the very first episodes before she actually, goes into David's mind. But, I mean, I'm just looking ahead here that it's red is associated with Lenny, with Shadow King, with Farouk, and she's automatically wearing red because she's connected, whether or not she means to or not, or knows that she's connected. I do wonder, actually, for season 2, aside from the color scheme of that, if her and David are going to show up in the astral plane again. And if they are, what's going to happen? Oh, look, I foresee another theory. They're going to end up like Oliver was, and they're going to be stuck, frozen in time, in a sense. Frozen in time in this bedroom of pureness, since that's white everywhere. That would really suck, considering this is David's story. Well, David and Lenny's story, let's be real. But it's just a thought that I have. So, yeah. As I said, looking forward to season 2. I think I still have to wait nearly a year for that. I don't think it's coming out in the fall. I think it's coming out in the spring. I'm probably wrong. Don't quote me on that. But I finally made it to the end, and I'm very excited.